Okay, all right. So we are now live with my little chat show, and I'm gonna start it off by asking the very simple but complex question of who are you?
Okay. Well,
Maybe fail.
at the most simplest definition of me is I am an artist. I'm a super nerdy artist.
So, all right. So I love your art. I love the direction it's going. Oh, okay, baby. What happened, baby?
Sorry about that.
Oh no, it's good.
Baby throwing a fit. All right.
But yeah, so
Okay.
I was going to ask you. I've been looking at your art, and I saw your progression piece today. Right, that was one of my favorite things. Your progression piece. So I can pull it up.
Yeah.
Um, Here it is. So, like your progression piece, right? And I noticed you have a true love and infatuation with like fairies and mythical creatures. And I was wondering, like,
Yes.
where'd you get that from? Because I have a love for like ligers, like Napoleon Dynamite, and I just love like mythical animals. I wonder where you got yours from.
I don't know. I guess it started with my love of unicorns. Um, Growing up, I was really badly bullied. So, in essence, I created this whole entire world that I could just escape to. And it had the unicorns and the fairies and I it somebody had recommended me the book A Wrinkle in Time, which I couldn't get into, but it opened the door to other authors. And the more I read, the more I fell in love with the the fantasy realm itself. And it came across in my art. I started out just copying Disney pictures out of coloring books that I seen. I've always loved Disney. I don't know why. I grew up with Disney. But eventually I got to where I was just starting to draw little pieces on my own, just anything that was in my head,
Right.
and it just progressed from there. And now, I mean, all I do pretty much anything fantasy: mermaids, fairies, unicorns, centaurs.
You, it's funny. Like when I was a kid, right? Like I used to. Um, I wouldn't say draw because my artistic abilities weren't that great, but I would always think about and stuff like that. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was a kid, I could draw. I can like you gave me a picture, I can copy it, right, and I can look at the left and make it on my own. But like when it came to my own individuality as an artist, it wasn't really there. I was really limited to only what I saw, um,
Yeah.
and it didn't help that my teacher kept like messing up my paperwork and stuff. But like I was wondering, like how I don't know, like when you look at stuff, right, you see like the realistic approach, you see what's real. How do you adapt it into your own sense of like uniqueness, right? Like your fantasy. How do you make that?
Well, I kind of have this process because I never took any classes at all, except for like a fine arts class in like middle school where I learned a little bit of 3D art. But I go through this process of where I will think of the image that I want to see on the paper, and I'll start working on the little details. I'll go through my mind because I love details. The more my brain has to work when I look at a picture, the more I like it. And then I start with like what I call the ugly stage, where I do the shapes and the lines and different things like that. And then I'll start building on it to it from there. And first thing that I do, especially with faces, I start with the eyes. I think that's why people like the eyes most in my drawings, is because that's my beginning point. Everybody always says that my eyes are so lifelike. There's so much life in every eye, in the eyes of all of my pictures.
Because they're the windows, the windows to the souls, to the eyes. I don't know if
Mhm.
you think.
Yeah, and I always put a little bit of myself in every picture.
What do you mean by that?
I put a little bit of my essence into it, you know? That when you look at a picture that I've drawn, that is actually part of me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have a hard time giving away pictures because you know, it's like I'm giving a little piece of myself, like my baby.
Huh.
But I do it a lot.
You know, it's funny.
And
One of my first cartoon crush, well, my very first #1 cartoon crush is Tinkerbell, right? And
yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Peter Pan. And one of the things Peter said about Tink was that you know, fairies are so tiny they can only possess one emotion at a time, right? And
yeah.
I was wondering, like, when you do your art, right? You do your art of fairies. Like, what aspect are you trying to capture when you do a fairy? Like, what specific thing? Like, when you think of a fairy, right? Like the personality of a fairy. What do you think is a fairy?
Um,
So you can capture it, like in her eyes, in like in her soul, her being. You know.
Basically, to me, I try to capture that mischievousness that fairies have. Because to me, a fairy is the epitome, the embodiment of mischievousness. You know, because really, I mean, they're very mischievous. I've actually done research on the fairy creatures that I draw, and trust me, you never want to piss off a fairy, ever.
Yeah, 'cause I remember like,
But
like Peter, like with Tink, Tink didn't like Wendy, so she kind of like sabotaged her a lot and stuff. And I was,
oh, she tried to kill her.
yeah, she tried to take her out. Especially depending on which book you read, she almost succeeded a couple of times.
Oh yeah, she's like, you better stay away from my man. Mm-mm. No, you didn't.
So I'm really excited because I'm not going to say the name of the goddess that you're drawing for me, but I'm really excited to see her. Just because I don't know, like now that I know that like a piece of you is in every like piece of art you do,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna feel amazing. Now, I will tell you this though, right? I've already decided the name of my daughter. I haven't thought of my son's name, but I have decided on the name of my daughter, right? And I've been adding onto it, subtracting from it. But her first name is going to be Aurelia, right? Her middle name is going to be the
Beautiful.
name you and I discussed, right? That's what I've decided.
Okay.
So I told my girlfriend, I was like, this is the name of my baby. Just so you know,
Yeah.
and she has no say so in it. But I wanna just thank you now because I would never even thought of that name if you didn't start the piece for me, and I would have never fallen in love with something because I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly just like your art in a sketch has impacted my life in the future already, and I haven't even seen it done yet.
Oh wow.
So
I'm still doing research on how to draw the hair because I want to get it in the most natural form. And even with that, I'm actually going to do you 2 pieces. I'm going to finish that one and send it to you, but I'm also going to do another piece that I think kind of embodies the brand and especially with the symbol that you have as the logo. I think that deserves more of a kind of a warrior princess huntress kind of thing.
Growing up, I love Xena, and I'm in love with gladiators. I love warriors. I love battle. I personally like. I don't really like fighting. I have a punching bag and I practice all the time. I just don't really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a feeling you know a lot about my psyche, a lot more than I thought you did. Oh,
But yeah, I've been looking up like tribal warrior princesses and stuff like that and getting ideas. I think I know what I'm going to do. It's just a matter of actually sitting down and doing it.
I'm excited. Wow. Oh, all right. So okay, I got another question for you. Okay. So if you could step into a fantasy world, right? Like I'm sure you've thought about it. If you could step into a fantasy world, what would that world entail? Like if you had your dream world, what would be in your dream world?
Like if my dream were real.
100%.
Oh my gosh. I actually had created a name for it. It's called Xylea.
Xylea.
And it's an island, and in the middle has like this volcano, but instead of like lava flowing from it, it has a cloud above it with a waterfall, and the water flows out of it. I have a city of trees, like these giant tree stumps, and each level of these trees is a house for these like fish-like people. The capital city itself, the gate are two giant horse statues or unicorn statues. And if the city was attacked in any way, those statues would come to life and cross each other, completely shutting off the city.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And even underground, the fairies live, like in these like little bubble cities, completely underground.
So, okay, all right. So what's funny is I've always wanted my own private island, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted a castle on that island, right? Brick by brick. You ever seen the show Gargoyles, the cartoon Gargoyles?
Yes.
So I always wanted to take a castle, right, brick by brick, and put it onto an island, right? And then on my island, I would have not a volcano, but like a hot spring, right? But the way it's cycled through is it would have a cloud, and the cloud would have water coming down, and then like it'll do like a cycling kind of motion, right? And literally, it'll be its own, like, because that'll be the only cloud like on the whole island would be that cloud, and it'll do like a whole cycling thing of just the way water evaporates and comes back down. And then I was gonna have. You ever seen the what is it? It was a sci-fi picture of. It was like 3 parts or 2 parts. It was Peter Pan. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to, if I find a link, I'm gonna send it to you. I remember watching it when I was in school. It was like 2010 or 2011, and it was Peter Pan, but this time he was like a. It started when he was like a British little thief, and it made its way all the way, you know, to Neverland and stuff. I don't want to ruin it, but there was a city in there, and it was of trees. And I think if you can see that, you would see, like, you might be able to see like a visualization of the dream you had, because literally, as soon as you said it, that's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But and even the people there have abilities. There's different kinds of abilities. Even the character I have for myself, my character is a shapeshifter, but she's a special kind of shapeshifter in the fact that when she takes on the shape, she takes on the ability of the shape.
Oh.
Like if she
like
turns
Rogue.
into a unicorn.
No, not Rogue.
Yeah. Like if she changes into a unicorn, she's not just the shape of the unicorn, but she can purify water. She can do everything that a unicorn can do. Or if she turns into a fairy, she can do everything a fairy can do. Or any shape that she takes, she can take on that ability.
All right, so it's funny because usually like my last question to people is one of my icebreaking questions. And one of my questions is what superpower you'll have. And you kind of nullify that one. So now I got to think about using my other icebreaker question at the end. That's pretty cool. Huh. Okay. So other question, next question. When it comes to your art, right? What would you say is your greatest strength?
My greatest strength. Just the fact that I've been able to improve as much as I have with very little actual art education. The fact that, you know, if I set my mind that I want to learn how to draw something, I can look at other people's work and kind of practice their techniques. If I like it, I keep it. If I don't, I change it, you know?
Like master study. Yeah.
To make my art as adaptive as possible so that I can continue to learn and, you know, I that's part of the reason why I did the Patreon site, is so that once I start to get patrons, I can get much needed supplies. I can eventually start to get lessons. I want to eventually go completely digital.
Oh yeah.
Do the digital painting. I'm looking at a couple of devices, one called Wacom and the other one called iSkin, spelled ISKN,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can start to trade it. I still want to do traditional, but I also want to do digital as well. Because I've seen a lot of very, very talented digital artists, and I'm like, I want to do that.
What's funny, just before we chatted, I talked to this girl in Canada, and she's doing like a digital art piece. And don't tell my girlfriend, but it's a piece for her and a piece for me. Don't tell my girlfriend. And, you know, she does digital art, and she just said how she essentially she doesn't do like traditional anymore, and she didn't feel as connected to it. And she transitioned more to the, you know, to the digital part. And it's just funny that you brought that up about the digital thing, because like it's so interesting how like time has evolved for artists and the abilities have evolved.
Yeah.
You literally take a pen and draw on a pad, and it shows up on your computer. And I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah. Because from the very beginning, I've always started out pencil drawings. So I'll never give that up, because, you know, I've got to keep myself sort of grounded, you know, keep reminding myself with every pencil drawing where I came from. But I also want to progress. I want to learn different types of medias. I want to do sculpting. I want to do painting, the digital arts. I mean, I want to be basically a jack of all trades.
Huh. So it's like, what's the message you're trying to send through with your art? Like when you draw, because like the way I see it, the reason why I love artists so much is because they're literally, like you said, taking a piece of themselves and putting it on paper. So it's like, what part of you are you presenting to the world when you present it?
My creative part of me, you know, that people can look at my art, and especially with me being mostly self-taught, I want to teach people, you know, you can get that good if you just keep practicing. You just got to keep at it. You keep drawing, keep painting. You get better and better and better each piece that you create. You know, just basically keep at it. I even tell my oldest daughter that, because she tells me all the time she wants to be creative like mommy. And I tell her, just start drawing and keep drawing, and you get good. Because I've been drawing since I could pick up a pencil.
Are you afraid at times, you know, with your art? Like, are you afraid of expressing yourself so much and allowing people to look at you? You know.
Yeah, I being that as shy as I am, I have that fear of that vulnerability that I put out. But when it comes down to it, the love of being creative just kind of overrides that shyness, and I just put it out there anyways. And I mean, I've had critics, I've had people tell me that it's not good enough, or they'll tell me something that's wrong with the picture, and I'm just like, you know, I did it. I'm proud of myself. Shut up.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. For me, it's always nerve-wracking. Like when I make a new product or something, take a picture. You know, I'm like, will people like it? You know, I'm even now I'm still like, will people still enjoy it? You know, like will people take to it the way I want them to take to it? Will they take to it and see that this is an extension of my, you know, my being that I put into this form? Because like I was thinking about it the other day. It's like, you know, this is technically my craft. I'm an artist. This is my craft, and it's not, you know, the most beautiful, I guess, you know, with the colors and everything. But I think it serves a purpose. and your art
Actually,
has a purpose.
I actually love it. I love what you do. I love that, you use all natural ingredients, that you actually show pictures of you making it in your kitchen with your kitchen stuff. I like that. You see exactly what's going into what you use on your skin. And that's a good thing. If only more companies did that.
Well, I don't think
You know.
they can, really, to be honest with you. And that was the thing I really wanted to take hold of, because I have lotions and deodorants and body washes and stuff like here that I've just had for a while, and I don't know what the ingredients are, and it's like people.
Or you have those ingredients you can't pronounce, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah, I'm confused. Like I don't know, like what is this thing? And it always freaked me out, because I'm just like, it's like always seeing a painting, but never seeing the work gone into it, right? And I realized when I was younger, I used to like watch anime. Well, not even when I was younger, I watch it now. Right? I used to watch cartoons all the time, but you could never see like how it was done. So to me, it was always magical.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? And then I started, when you get older, you start seeing the books and stuff, like the artists practicing. And I think it was like Nickelodeon that first got me, where it's like how to draw SpongeBob, and I was like, whoa, they show you this.
That process always fascinated me. And even when I just graduated high school, my mother took me to apply to enroll into the Art Institute of Houston, which I was actually accepted, which from what I'd heard is very, very, very difficult to do. The Art Institute is very, very difficult college to get into. They're like the Juilliard of the art world. And yet on my talent alone, I was accepted, but I just didn't have enough money to get in. So it really bummed me out, but it also kind of pushed me to get better and better and better, so that I could become like the other artists that I seen. Which that in itself was the craziest experience. Here I am, just out of high school, with my little sketchbook and all these other artists around me, carrying these huge portfolios and massive paintings, and I'm sitting here going, what am I doing here? I don't belong here.
So what's your driving force? Like what motivates you, like when you do decide to do your art? Because like, what motivates you to keep going? Because I lost motivation in doing art when I was a kid. Like my teacher kept ripping up my artwork, and it just discouraged me. So I lost that motivation, and now I'm trying to come back and find it. Like I don't know if you saw my little ink. You saw my little ink thing, and every once in a while,
that was so cool.
like I try to find like a way to express myself. So it's like and it's always been an art. It's just I'm not an artist in a sense like that. Like I can dream stuff up and have ideas, but like I don't have the motivation to make it happen or practice enough. And it's like, what's your motivation to continue to push? Even when you have naysayers like that.
Well, at this point, I think it's my daughters, so that if and when I do succeed, I can tell them, okay, if you stick your mind to something, if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything you want, no matter what it is. You can do anything you want. That with enough practice, you can get good at anything. Do what you love, sort of thing.
A lot of people they're afraid. Like you've seen that quote where it's like, you aren't afraid of what is it like? Essentially, I can't remember like how it goes, but it's like your biggest fear isn't that you're inadequate. That's what it is. Your biggest fear isn't that you're inadequate. Is that you're great beyond measure. And you feel like people are afraid. I get this thing a lot where people, like I hear people talking and stuff, and they'll put other people down because this person's like willing to jump off the building for their dreams and aspirations, and they're just like, nah. Like, do you have that fear sometimes where you're just like, maybe this isn't it,
I do, and there's been times that I've wanted to just give up and just throw away all of my art stuff, but then I realize, I shouldn't do that. And plus, what somebody told me, this guy told me that personally knew Charles Schultz, the creator of Peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me and he was like, you know what? Never second guess yourself. Because as soon as you start second guessing, you're doomed to fail.
Yes, every time. Yes, exactly.
And every time I start to give up, every time I think, okay, I'm just not good enough to make a career out of this, I think, wait a second, I'm second guessing myself. I need to stop before I fail.
It's so funny. Like one of my like I have like a couple like 3 quotes that I've been living by since I turned 21. And one was "I'll be a hero with or without a mask," right? And I have that embroidered on this giant Batman blanket that the Hinch family, Ray, Alex, that it's just like, goodness, it's just, I don't know. Like the quote was, believe in yourself so much that others are forced to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that's how I always felt about it. It's like you gotta believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then like you can't like it. When I got it, Alex's mom did it, Bonnie, and she got it sent to me, and I cried. Like I full on like, oh my God, my leg's broken, but like I straight up cried because it touched me that people really believed in me, and it's like,
yeah,
I realized like if I didn't believe in me, people wouldn't believe in me. And it's like, and you have little eyes looking up at you, right? Looking at you, saying, "Mom, I want to be like you." Like that has to be amazing motivator. Like, how does that feel? Do you feel like it's like pressure, or do you feel like it's?
Do I?
Do you feel like your daughters when they look up at you and say they want to be like you? Is that pressure, or is that like the good kind of pressure, the kind you want to have?
I feel honored, but at the same time, I tell them, don't try to be like me. You be like you. You be the best you can be.
Yeah, I knew I liked you, but talking to you in this free of a flow, it's it's because we would have never met. Like I'm not traveling out to Texas, at least not anytime soon. And I wouldn't have been like, what is it? Where are you at now?
Well, I'm actually just south of Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, like no, like I'm not traveling to Oregon. It's like I don't know. It fascinates me just the way technology's made it like great for people to communicate and connect and realize they have similar stories.
Definitely. I even have good friends out in Great Britain, and it wouldn't be possible without the internet. Because I just don't have the funds to go out that far.
Oh man.
I would love to, but
Well, so I mean, you have to sell some paintings, sell some art.
oh yeah, because I definitely do want to travel all over around the world.
Wait, because you won't be able to truly. I guess like you won't be able to truly see your creations in life until you can see what the life or the world they're in begins. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense.
I've actually told my husband that the one day that I see my work on somebody's body, I'll know I've made it. Which I mean, I've done lots of tattoo commissions that I'd only charge like 10% of whatever it costs to be put on, but I'd never seen anybody actually come up and say, "Hey, look, does it look good?" So
that's funny.
I look forward to one day happening.
I see your Batman shirt, and I actually have a Batman tattoo up here.
Yeah, I kind of stole it from the husband. He said it didn't fit right anymore. I'm like, okay, it's mine.
Yeah, my girlfriend steals all my Batman stuff and all my just stuff in general. I'm like, why do you have your own? I just bought you your own. She's like, but yours is so much better. I'm like, I
Well,
don't
everybody had something Batman except for me. I'm like, come on, I want to join the group. No, if I could just get something Star Wars, will be even better.
Oh, okay. So Star Wars. That's what I want. So for me, when I look at movies and stuff, I look at it from a philosophical standpoint, right? So when you watch Star Wars, what do you like? What type of message are you getting? You know, are you getting anything that says, I don't know, like, is there anything inspiring that you see in it? Because you know it's an underdog story. You know, the little guy fighting against the big guy. But it's like, is there anything in there personally that when you look at it, kind of gives you, you know, like that beating in the heart?
I guess believing in yourself. You know, believing that you can achieve what may seem impossible. Because in the end, that's basically like Luke. That's what he did. He conquered a rebellion. You know, he achieved the impossible, all because he just was persistent and believed in himself.
And that translates. So how do you translate that into not your art? Because I know you continually push, you know, yourself to go through. But how does, you know, like a message like that translate into your life? Like, does it give you some type of, like, does it give you the fairy wings to fly for your dreams?
Yeah, but I have issues, you know, with being self-confident, and I do have a lot of anxiety issues, you know, but I I fight, and seeing movies like that, you know, kind of gives me that, okay, if they can do it, I can do it too.
As, I don't know that because like my favorite movie of all time is In Time. Right, one of my favorite movies is In Time. And they use like their money as currency, their time as currency, and it's like when I watch movies and stuff like that, it really makes me think. And it's funny because you know, I don't know, I always find it interesting, like the way art imitates life so effectively, and then it has the ability to change someone's life. You know, when they see it, like it can really cause someone to feel amazing and feel great about themselves.
Yeah.
Like when you do your work, right? Like what kind of effect are you trying to give people? Like what type of inspirational, like love or message are you trying to give them?
You know, I'm not really sure. I just want to inspire people to, you know, in no matter what form that they create. I wish for people to be creative and be inspired to be creative through my work.
Oh man, I don't know. It's so interesting because like growing up, there weren't a lot of people that were really trying to inspire others and uplift others. And it's so interesting. Like you're trying to uplift strangers, you know, by literally giving them a piece of your soul.
Yeah.
Uh,
I usually try to make everybody I meet at least smile. I do goofy things like no matter what time of the day it is, I tell people good morning, like 6 o'clock at night. Or like, I'll go into the bank and ask the teller if they're giving away free samples, you know, sort of that offset, like random acts of goofiness that just make people kind of give that double take and sometimes leave people smiling or even giggling a little bit. Or even as a teenager, I would answer the phone and say something like, my family's last name was Taylor. And I'd answer the phone and say, Taylor's Bakery, which crumb do you wish to speak to? I like making people happy. I always have. Even like our discussion, you know, even through my art, if I leave people smiling and happy, then I've achieved my goal.
you ever feel like, because like I feel like this sometimes. Like I feel like I'm trying to give people happiness. You know, it's not with the business thing, just in personal life. I'm trying to give people happiness, right? I'm opening myself up to people, and it kind of just like slapped me in the face. Like it's like I tried so hard to make everything awesome for you, and you kind of just don't appreciate it. Like, do you feel like that sometimes? Like not even just with your art, but just in real, like in your regular life. That
Yeah, I do. But I try to keep in mind the people that really do appreciate it, and I just that keeps me going. You know, because I mean, everybody's always going to have critics. Everybody is. People are going to have people that are mean to them.
Yeah.
You just have to cling to the people that mean the most to you, that are there for you, that encourage you, that love you, and keep it close. You know, because that sort of thing is what keeps me going every day. Even when I have thoughts that maybe I shouldn't necessarily have, I keep thinking to myself, okay, well, how is that going to affect the people that love me?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me go, well, wait a second, I need to back myself up and think better thoughts.
So it's like I don't know, because I tell myself like every day that today is a great day. It's a spectacular day. I woke up, I'm happy because like I firmly believe that if everyone liked me, everyone enjoyed me, then I was doing something wrong. Because at that point, then I was too bland, too generic. And do you feel like do you feel at times how do I put it?
Well, see, there's a lot of times that I've been called weird, but I've come to the conclusion, and I've even seen memes on Facebook saying this: being called weird is basically be called limited edition, meaning people are seeing something in you they don't see normally.
I've actually never thought of it like that. Because like
I seen that and I'm like, I never thought of it like that. I like it.
because like as a kid, like I've always been a little off, in a sense, and it was because like the way I thought. And it wasn't until I got older that I fully embraced the fact that I was eccentric, right? Like, I'm eccentric. I enjoy it. I enjoy being different, being like walking a different path. Like I bought a crown. You saw the crown. I got the little crown thing. I got the gold crack jacket. I'm extra and I like it,
Yeah, and there were times in my life I wanted to be ordinary. I wanted to be that run of the mill, but especially when I met my husband and he got me into watching like Doctor Who and stuff. And there's something that the doctor says that 900 years of time and space, and I've never met anybody unimportant. And that spoke to me, It made me feel like, okay, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be unique and different because that's the way we're supposed to be.
It's my eyes getting a little watery. Sorry about that. It's funny because like I mentioned to a buddy of mine that I wanted to do interviews and conversations with people, right? Well, first I mentioned the fact I want to do like this, get people to share their stories, right? And a lot of people told me, like who you want to get these stories from? Who are these people, right? They're nobodies. Like who? Like what? And I was like, nobody's a nobody. Everybody has a story. Everybody has something, right? So then I mentioned to a buddy of mine that I wanted to do. I get an ice cream truck. I've never heard of ice cream truck before. At least not like out here. But it's snow outside. Why's the ice cream truck? But anyway, I mentioned to him that I wanted to do like the interview, like the live stuff like this.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, you should only do people with like this many Instagram followers or this many Facebook friends. And I was like, why? like everyone has a story. Everyone has something that you can say that can inspire someone else to truly feel inspired. You can say something to make somebody feel I don't know, just I don't know, and just to hear that thing from the doctors. I've never seen Doctor Who, but to hear that, it really gets to me because it's like I've heard people, you know, discredit people that were homeless because they were homeless. And I'm like, you don't know how they got in the situation. Like, what happened? And
Exactly.
oh man,
Even there's even an episode that's my absolute favorite called "The Vincent and the Doctor." Absolute favorite quotes comes from it about life, it being a pile of good and bad things. And I swear, every time I see that show, that especially that particular episode, I am reduced to tears because it's just so beautiful. And even the more recent episodes, there's actually the doctor does a speech about war, and if you'd like, I'll send you a link for it. But he highly discourages war. He doesn't even carry a gun. All he carries is a sonic screwdriver because he doesn't like violence. So many times in the show that he's protected mankind because he always says we have so much potential.
it's so I don't know. I feel like everyone's just giving up on understanding one another, because it's like if you take a second, because one thing I really try to focus on is duality, right? Like the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, and I really try to focus on that part of life, like understanding. And it sucks sometimes because like I understand it so well that I can't be upset when people do me wrong, right? Because I understand why, and it's like I can't be angry at you because I understand why. And even with the violence and war, I can understand why people have it. But it's so disheartening, it's heartbreaking that people resort to such terms. Like, the world is free, right? The entire world, the planet is provided to you for free. To charge someone for air, for water, for sand, for earth,
Yeah.
is asinine, And I don't know, like, I don't know. So, well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you could change one thing about, society and the world today, what would it be?
I would want to make people more accepting of each other, instead of judging people on what their outside looks like, what religion they practice, anything, it doesn't matter. I have always had this long-held belief: every human being deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, and I would make it so everybody thought that.
Well, so now I can see why you were drawn to my page. I see that now because that's all I talk about, and it's funny because that's exactly how I feel about like in essence in general. People just don't understand one another, Like, I don't know. Like, one thing I never do is I never ask people what their religion is, right? And I don't ask people what their job is. I want to know, who are you, right? It's like not what you do, but I want to know why you do your life. Like, why do you wake up? What's your job motivation? Because I feel like once you ask people, like, what's your job or what's your religion, your preconceived notions, your prejudice just comes in and becomes a part of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't
Your curiosities become more judgments.
Yeah, it's just like when I think of because I like cars. So if I think of, like a Chevy, right? I think, oh, it's a piece of crap. It's gonna break, because that's just what I know about Chevys. But it's like not every Chevy's the same. And so, like, how do you, instill that type of free, I'm saying free, like that type of free thinking, that love to your babies?
Well, as of right now, my husband and I are just we introduced them. We're basically raising them gender neutral. They like their boy stuff. They love Batman. They love Star Trek, but they also like the girly stuff. Like they like Shimmer and Shine. They like My Little Ponies. You know, they like the girl stuff as well as the boy stuff. And basically, what I'm trying to teach them is the love and acceptance, which something I never got growing up. I never felt like I was good enough because of the fact that I was a product of a first marriage. And so I want to basically teach my daughters that no matter who they are, no matter who they feel like they are, they can come to both of us and know that we'll accept them no matter what. That, and like my husband says, doesn't want a pansy princess waiting for her Prince Charming. You know, we're raising warrior princesses.
You are a lovely and amazing woman, and your husband sounds like a spectacular man.
Boy, yeah, I married him.
Like, I don't know, like, you know.
Yeah, his awesomeness is what drew me to him to begin with.
Mhm.
Yes, you. He was just awesome, and he treated me with such kindness that I had never really seen before. And just a month after we started talking, I just flat out told him, I don't want to freak you out, but I can't live without you. And we've been together ever since. I really don't count our legal marriage as our marriage. I count the day we met as our marriage because that's the day I met my husband.
It's like the bonding of two souls.
hmm And it's weird because my best friend at the time that set us up sent me a picture, and even just from his picture, there's just something about him I just knew. I'm done looking.
Oh,
Him and his fuzzy red beard and his big patty shirt on in the Superman pose. Seriously. That was the first picture I saw of my husband.
have you ever drawn a picture of him?
No, I haven't. I haven't drawn any like any male people. I've only ever drawn female because there's no part of the female body I can't look in the mirror for a reference. A dude, not so much. I'm actually gonna try to start teaching myself how to do that so I can start being more versatile in that.
You know, like what I think would be kind of amazing is if you started a series, right, where you essentially made your island, you know, real. You know, like you drew your island the way you saw it, and you made it into a series, like a comic book. Because I love comic books, right? And if you did something like that, I think it would be spectacular. You know, alongside a you know, or even if not even that, you can do what is it? Like a novel, you know, and then in a novel you have the drawings that you use for the basis of every character. Because like you have a lot of untapped talent, and
Yeah.
I'm excited. Like just looking at the pieces you post on Instagram, I'm excited. You know, because you don't post much of it, which I want to see more. But it's
Okay.
I just know like when you sent me the picture of the goddess that you're drawing for me, I was just like my heart sank a little bit, right? Because I have this thing, like I'm really, like I'm huggy, you know, like I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
And like I told my girlfriend about it and I showed it to her, and she's like, "That's amazing." I was like, "I know." I don't know what's up with me, and like watery eyes, but I was like, "She's doing it for me." Like I don't know, just I don't know.
Well, maybe one day you can come out and visit, and I'll give you a hug in person.
Oregon. I gotta look that up on it because like I failed so hard at Oregon Trail that I have never even. I don't even know where Oregon is on the map because I lost so many times in that game. I just stopped believing it was a real place.
Oh,
Like,
well, that's that little state between California and Washington.
oh, yeah. Let me look it up real quick because I have to go out to California. Towards the end, towards I think like August or something. I'm going to be in California
Yeah.
to have like a rugby tournament to play in, and okay, Oregon. Okay, I just spelled it wrong. And I'm gonna be in LA. I wonder how long the drive it is from LA up to. I try to be a long drive. So I know one thing I want to do is I want to do a cross country. All right, so it's a 13-hour drive. So I know I want to do a cross country train ride, and if I can get a train that lands me off in Oregon, I want to do that next year.
Cool.
I would love to eat some vegan food with you, because you can have the burger all you want, but I need my little vegan food. I'm vegan.
All right.
Oh man. All right, so I got one final question because we're coming to the end of the like close to an hour, and I want to keep it long.
Gotta get back to these girls.
But I gotta get to that deodorant. I just finished pouring it, so I gotta see how it's setting.
All right.
But so my final question, you already took out my icebreaker for the first one about the superpower. So I guess if you could, oh, this is one of my favorite ones. What animal would you shapeshift into? Like, what would you say would be your spirit animal if you can turn into it?
I would say a horse. Because I love their free spirit. I love it, especially when they're running. They have such a free spirit about them. I guess I've always liked the equine.
You ever been horseback riding?
No, I never have. Strangely enough, being from Texas, I've never gone horseback riding.
You need to. I went horseback riding, and it terrified the hell out of me when I was a kid. Now, when I first did it was easy, right? But then the horse ran and started like galloping faster, and I was only like 9. I was like, slow down, and then I stopped just before the gate, and I kind of almost went over the gate. I was like,
oh my gosh.
Terrified.
But I got to get back to these girls.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with me.
Oh, it's not a problem.
I really do appreciate it. And when I'm done, I'm gonna send you the link. I'm gonna post it in the blog. I'm gonna send you the link to it, and we're just gonna try to make something happen. And I want to see you succeed, and I know you have it in you to be spectacular. And right now, you're spectacular. You just not. You got to finish up the rest of the so you can just like, boom.
All right. Well, it was lovely talking to you.
Spectacular. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Later, dude.
Later, alligator. All right, let me see. Okay, I got to. Oh, here it is. Got it.